You're tuned to Evergreen Media Network. I am Cindy Schwartz, and this is our Veterans Voice radio show, and your host, Ralph Nathan Oko.
You're so busy, you weren't sure where you were.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Hi, Cindy.
Hey.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Saturday, August 29th. Thank you for being with us. The title of today's show is Best Artist, Best Gallery, and the reason we titled it is because everything is in the name, in the title. In other words, if you give the message, somebody may not, while they're surfing, they may not pick up the podcast. But everybody's wanting to know, well, what are you talking about when you talk about best artist and best gallery? Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to tell you. Somebody else will tell you. So I want to introduce to you one of my literally best friends, Janie Graves Hoover. I've known you for, I think, going on 16 years.
Wow.
And I remember the first day I met you. And so welcome to our show, our Veterans Voice Radio and the Highwaymen segment. It's a little bit of everything today. But so everybody knows, you've got your story about the Graves family because I just feel like I'm part of your family.
Oh.
It's a beautiful story. So tell us about the Graves family and about Janie.
Well, my grandfather moved here after college because his parents had moved here because they were in the lumber business. And then they extended that business interest into cattle and citrus. And then my dad ended up in the citrus business. So I grew up here in Indian River County when it was a big citrus agriculture area. And, that's my story.
Okay, well, you didn't grow up in the 20s and 30s, obviously. But your grandfather came here, in the 20s or in the teens?
1920s, yes.
Where did he come from?
He lived in Quincy, Florida prior to that. He grew up in Quincy, Florida.
Where's Quincy, Florida?
It's up in the Panhandle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
A lot of tomatoes up there,
Yes.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and Pensacola.
Yeah.
I remember driving on 10 in Pensacola. Ooh, the what do you call it? The sulfur, rotten eggs I remember smelling. But anyway, so your grandfather went into the lumber business. Mm-hmm. Your father grew up
in the citrus business, and he ended up in the citrus business. And that's, I grew up when citrus was big here.
So your father would have been in the 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Right.
Okay. See, I got it a little bit right. I remember, I'm going to put you, I usually don't do this to a guest, but you're a member of the family. Do you remember the first time we met?
I don't. I'm racking my brain since you said you would remember it.
Okay, somebody was painting a little room on the second floor of a building on 14th Avenue, and the landlord was...
Oh, I was a landlord?
I think it was you and your sister.
Yes.
And
Our family owned an office building in downtown Vero.
And our mutual friend, Pat Michael, was immersed in a bucket of white paint, and he was painting, and that's when I met Patrick, who's become a dear friend also.
Yes. He was doing some remodeling for us.
And who knew that those years, here we are again on the radio together. But now you were born in the Vero Beach Hospital somewhere. Well, not the one we know.
I was actually born in Fort Pierce.
Oh, really?
And Doretha Hare and I were talking about this yesterday.
Let's talk about that, by the way.
Because the hospital in Fort Pierce is now a affordable housing project. My mother grew up in Fort Pierce, and she wanted to go to her family doctor. So that's why my sister Judy and I were born in Fort Pierce.
But you were born in a hospital?
In the hospital,
okay.
Yes.
Wow.
And the building is still there.
A lot of buildings still are there. When Elliot and I drove yesterday to the American Legion, let's talk a couple of seconds about, as a tribute to Susan, I was pointing out the arcade building and the East Coast Lumber and some of the new monuments, the City Hall and the courthouse, they weren't there when you were there. I mean, in the 2000s, I think.
Yeah.
Weren't both of them? Mm-hmm. So you attended school in Fort Pierce? Or
no, I always lived in Vero, but I was just, my birthplace is Fort Pierce, but I never lived in Fort Pierce. I always lived in Indian River County.
Okay, so you went to Vero Beach High School.
I did.
Thank you. And let's see.
When I went to Vero Beach High School, there was only one high school in the county. Now the county's grown, so we have Sebastian High School, we have the Charter High School, we have St. Edward's, and there's some other various, smaller private schools.
And I just heard there's a Gifford High School.
It was
There
Gifford.
was.
Yeah.
There was.
somebody said there still is one. I said, no,
It's
there
Gifford
is.
Middle School.
Oh, okay. So
Yes.
that's why I couldn't
But
find
it's
it.
on the campus
of the
of
old-
what used to be Gifford High School.
Oh. 'Cause
So-
somebody said about Gifford High. I said, no, Tutti Jenkins and others, and Willie Reagan, they all told me that they closed and all the students transferred to Vero.
Yes, and they
to
made
Vero
that
Beach.
campus into a middle school.
Oh, okay. See, I just learned something new.
You did, and I went to Gifford Middle.
So what Janie and I were alluding to is today's being Saturday. So last Monday night, the 24th, there was a celebration of life for Susan Harris, who passed away July 21st. And if you remember, Susan Harris, a dear, dear friend of ours, my best friend. She worked with Jetsons, but I never realized the true magnitude of the magnet that this woman was. So last Monday night, the celebration had quite a few people, and I would say most of them. Would you agree, Janie? Majority were from probably I would have to say, St. Lucie County, in Fort Pierce and Port St. Lucie, the city. But there were a few still from Vero Beach. And I never realized how many people that person, Susan, touched. It's amazing. And some of the cutest stories that came about last Monday night was wonderful. But I was jealous because I thought I was the only one that felt that way. And there are all these people feel the same
All
way.
her best friends showed up.
Yeah, it was wonderful. So, why are we here today, Janie? And why is the title Best Artist, Best Gallery? I think what you need to do, Lily, is go back to before I even know what I'm talking about.
Okay. Well, I work for WFLX Fox 29, which is Channel 29. Our broadcast area is from Sebastian to Boca del Rey. And we had a Viewers' Choice Awards.
Oh.
It started in May. Big multimedia campaign outreach to our viewers and friends to nominate your favorite businesses in over 170 categories. So
Like
there
what
was
kind of category? Oh, you got the list.
Best Artist, Best Gallery, Best Boutique, Best Happy Hour, Best High School, Best Downtown, Best Burger, Best Local Date Night. Like I said, there's 170 categories. So people could go onto the website, the platform, and just put their names in there in the nomination phase.
They could nominate themselves?
They could nominate themselves, their customers could nominate them, their friends, their family. All the nominations went in. So we did that for 3 weeks, constantly telling people to join in. And when people were nominated, the people who worked at the station, the sales staff and our student interns, we would call people and tell them they were nominated so they could get their friends and family and customers to vote for them. Then in all 170 categories, we tallied those votes, and the top 3 in every category went on to another round of
So
competition.
the playoff and then the championship.
Yes. So then for 3 weeks, people were rallying their friends, family, customers to vote for them. And then on Thursday evening, we have announced the winners. And the Highwaymen Art Gallery of Vero Beach won Best Local Art Gallery.
Thank you.
Yay!
And an artist that is represented by that gallery, Tutti Jenkins, won Best Local Artist.
Isn't that wonderful?
So,
As far as-
congratulations.
you have no idea how pleased I am for Tutti. By the way, just so you know, when you called me and said congratulations, I said, that you're going to tell me about this, that Tutti won. And you said, congratulations. I said, well, Tutti deserves it. And what did you say?
And you do too.
And I had no idea. Everybody out there, I have to tell you, I had nothing to do with it. I knew nothing about it. And I said, huh? Apparently somebody, I don't know. I swear, I had nothing to do with that. Knew nothing about it. I didn't nominate myself. I didn't know it was a category. So I knew nothing about when you said that we came in the first round. And now you're telling us that Tutti and the Highwaymen Gallery came in the second round. Well, that is extremely, extremely flattering. But I have to concentrate on... Thank you. Tutti thanks you. I have to really, it's because of Tutti that I'm so happy about. You know, this man is one of the most humble human beings I've met. Hardworking, and I think we got plenty of time. We got about a give or take a minute and a half for the first quarter, and then I want to talk about Tutti and the Highwaymen and so on. But you know, until Susan Harris introduced Tutti and Ralph to each other, we didn't know each other. I didn't know he was. He didn't know I was. But when I realized the significance of who Tutti was, his first name is John, but his brother, when he was growing up, there were a couple of different Johns in the family, so they gave him a nickname, and his little brother called him Tutti because he couldn't say John, something to that effect. And that's how Tutti gets his nickname and stuck. Tutti was raised in Vero Beach, but went to Gifford High School, and he was cousins with the Buckner brothers, George and Ellis. That's a completely other story. So, Cindy, that's a compliment to you. Can we take a break now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we're going to take a break.
Yeah.
When we come back, Janie and I are going to talk about, if it's okay with you, Janie, I want to talk about Gifford, the Highwaymen, as they were not known at that time. They were just known as local artists, I imagine. I don't know. But
roadside painters.
Yeah, that's how Jim Fitch titled the name The Highwaymen, from the roadside. So we'll be right back, everybody. This is the one of the better happy shows, and I'm kind of sitting on the high because of my Tutti. So we'll be right back. Our Veterans Voice Radio, and today we're going to talk about Tutti Jenkins and the Highwaymen.
I'm Dr. Tim Ioannidis at Treasure Coast Dermatology. At Treasure Coast Dermatology, we believe in the prevention and early detection of skin cancer. We are medical doctors, and we focus on the medical aspects of dermatology. You don't need a sales pitch for Botox, collagen, or wrinkle creams. You need a doctor that cares about you and the health of your skin. We feel by not trying to do too much, we can do more for our patients.
Call toll-free 877-870-DERM. That's 877-870-3376.
Meet Henry Bach, patient of Florida Eye Institute.
After having the cataracts removed, it was a whole new world for me. The colors were brilliant. It was painless. You could almost say it's like being born all over again. When I come in here, it's like coming home. Everyone's so friendly and nice. It's just a wonderful experience.
Are you ready to experience truly exceptional patient care? Florida Eye Institute.
Hey, did you hear the latest about our Florida Highwaymen?
No, what?
There's a Highwaymen Art Gallery in Vero Beach.
Really? Where?
1872 Commerce Avenue.
Wow, when's it open?
7 days a week. Call 954-557-6226 for an appointment anytime.
No kidding?
Just call for your appointment, 954-557-6226, and then go to 1872 Commerce Avenue.
Wow, that's good news.
And we're back on our Veterans Voice Radio Show, and Ralph Nathan Oko. Today it's the Highwaymen, Ralph, and some awards.
Yeah, well, Janie will talk more about that. I'm more intrigued at the fact that the Treasure Coast and the Palm Beaches recognized the artistic ability, talents, and humility of Tutti Jenkins. He's one of the finest people I've met. There are many things I know about him, which it's family. So, but they're all good. I mean, he was like me as we're growing up, a little wild and had a good time, but he matured. He grew up, got married, remarried, and he lived up to his expectations. So, when did you? Janie, when did you first hear of Tutti Jenkins? Did you know him before I did?
No, I found out about Tutti Jenkins through your gallery.
Okay.
And then there was Susan Harris wrote an article about him. And of course, Susan being Susan, showed it to everybody in the Treasure Coast. So that's probably when I found out about him. And then I saw his artwork at your gallery.
I love his artwork. Of all the things, all the subjects that he paints, the first couple of years, his main big seller was, of course, the red poinciana, red orange poinciana.
Yeah.
But the last 12, 15, 18 months, it's been the orange groves. And when I asked Tutti, how come people gravitate? He said, well, that's where I worked when I was growing up. So I knew what they looked like. I worked there. I lived there. So when he paints the groves, he's not painting what you want to see. He's painting what he lived with and what he lived through. So
Well, they were beautiful.
they really are. And sometimes people, and he's taking commission orders, and people have been very happy with this commission. You know, they come, paint me such and such or whatever, and they've been very happy with it. So now I'm trying to combine everything together. So it's not that I'm jumping a purpose. What I'm trying to do, I've got this little box. I open the top up, and that a lot of little pieces to puzzle. And I'm trying to ask you to help me composite the puzzle pieces so we have a picture. So when you were growing up, obviously the term highwaymen wasn't coined until 1995-96 by Jim Fitch, another humble, wonderful person. And so when you were growing up, what did you call, what did they, I mean, your parents and grandparents knew the art.
I know that, my family had a Harold Newton from way back, and my sister still has that painting. And then my father had a business on US 1 and Indrio Road. So he was a prime, prospect here when the highwaymen were leaving Fort Pierce and driving up to Vero. He was probably a first or second stop.
That's great. So he bought paintings.
He bought paintings.
Oh, that's great.
I was in college, or I wasn't, there, but I just remember sometimes during the summer seeing people come in, and different people who worked in the office would buy a painting. My father had plenty of paintings, in his office. Both of my grandparents were artists, so we always had a lot of artwork. So some days, if people in the office had money, they'd buy one, $20, $30, and now look at them.
History. Did you work in the office or in the groves at all? Your father or grandfather's or family businesses?
Oh, yes.
What did you do, if I may?
Well, I did work in the groves, and I knew that was not for me. After working there, at some of the jobs my father had me do, which was when the trees are really young, sometimes you pick the fruit off of them. So you just throw it on the ground so the trees can develop more. And that is a very hard job. And you're out in the sun, and it's very physical, and there's spiders and snakes and, weeds that are waist high. And but somebody has to do it.
I relate to it because when I was a little boy in Israel, I came here, I was almost 12. So I lived in a very, very small town, rural farm town, and we had groves and grape, what do you call the grape farm?
Vineyards.
Vineyards, thank you. For instance, here's a trivia for everybody. Where do you get raisins from? Do everybody know where raisins come from?
From grapes.
From grapes. Well, how does that happen? Well, what do farmers or manufacturers do to take a grape to become a raisin? Nothing. The grapes you don't pick that remain on the vines.
Mm-hmm. Are they dry naturally?
Yes.
I
They
learned
wrinkle
something.
up like we people. And that we used to pick those. So as kids, either we would go to the vineyards or to the groves and just steal not grapefruit. Usually it would be oranges or tangerines. And the grapes, I think majority of us like the red ones, not the green ones. I think they were sweeter. I don't know. But in those days, you'd pick it. All you would do maybe is clean it against your shirt if you're wearing a shirt. So I can relate when you're working. But I can relate when you speak to majority of the highwaymen. That's a lot of them came from the groves and the farms, picking tomatoes, lettuce, and so on.
I moved on to office work in the citrus business.
Well,
That was a better place for me.
Now, there were no vineyards other than what we know now off of Indrio and 43rd. But you didn't have there were no vineyards here.
No, there was, oranges, grapefruit, lemons.
I wonder why not. The climate was right for it.
I don't know that the grapes that grow in Florida are as good for wine as they are in California and Michigan and maybe Oregon.
Good. I mean, I don't know. It's just a thought. Okay, so did you remember any of the Highwaymen when you were at the office or in the Groves or anywhere?
I
growing
don't,
up?
I did have some interaction with Sam Newton, and I'm trying to think of when it was. Years ago, I used to host a cable TV talk show.
Where?
It was
Here?
in Vero Beach. It was called Fort Pierce Live and Vero Beach Live, and I don't remember which one, but I invited Sam Newton to be a guest on the show, and he brought some paintings with him, and we did an interview, and maybe he was promoting something. I don't remember, but I happened to mention to him that I was building a new house. And he said, "What color is your kitchen?" And I said, "It's blue." And he painted a painting for me
Oh,
as
wow.
a thank you gift
Yeah.
That was
for being
sweet.
on the TV show,
Did he
and
have
gave it to me.
Did he have his wife with him at the show when he?
I
you
don't remember, and I would have been in the back. I wouldn't have seen, the guests came on one at a time, so I wouldn't have seen who all was out in the front room when I was hosting the show.
And by the way, let's pray for a quick recovery. Sam was involved in a vehicular accident a few months
dear.
ago, and so he's hurt his back and neck, and he's just not himself. He can't get back into the groove of things. And you have to remember, of the original 26 Hall of Fame Highwaymen, Sam and Curtis Arnett are the only two
right.
that are living right now.
Yeah.
So we wish them the best of health, of course. And in Sam's, let's pray for his quick recovery so that his hands can come back and his mind can come back, and he can be a significant factor in painting again of the Highwaymen art. Do you, what you and your family thought? Did everybody pretty much, and Cindy, this might now apply to you in the 70s, 80s, did everybody at the time realize that there's something special, or not really, it's just beautiful art and wet?
Well, I think, when people see artwork, they have to connect with it. And
Yes.
certainly if you're living in Florida, it's beautiful. And the Highwaymen mainly painted Florida scenes. So, native Floridians loved it. And I'm sure that people who moved here loved it as well because they love, Florida and all its natural beauty.
It's interesting because one of the themes or genres that they gravitated to is what we call seascape, the ocean, maybe with the Rio Mar, maybe with the shore, maybe with some bushes and trees. Yeah, but in those days we were just thinking I'm thinking like I was there. They were thinking about the ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. Now, 2026, these paintings are being grabbed in New England, as far as going all the way north along the coast of the Atlantic. And in the Pacific, same thing because of the Pacific Ocean, the seascape. So now there's more of a demand for the seascape than ever before for the paintings, which is interesting. You'd never think it's interesting how things have developed. And you never know. We're getting to the halftime, so because they just cut us off at halftime. And I do have to say, by the way, thank you to iHeartRadio. Our podcast, thanks to iHeart, is available to be heard. Janie, you're being heard right now all over the world. And
Fantastic.
It's amazing. It really is. I didn't even know what podcasting was a few years ago. And of all I don't know if we talked about, which, other than the United States or the Americas, do you know which two countries have the most foreign listeners to our podcasts?
I do not.
Japan and Canada. Canada was for a couple of years, and Japan has taken over, and we can't figure it out. And I've asked a lot of people, and most of the people that I've asked, men, have said military, because we have a large military presence. We're going to take a break. Janie Hoover, Cindy Schwartz, and I will be back in a couple of seconds, and we're going to talk more about the Fox TV award, the Viewers' Choice Awards, VCR. We'll be right back, everybody, and thank you so much for being with us.